For this year, Bulls, St Helens, Leeds and Wigan, they are all under threat from the black and whites. Hull aren't. This is their team, Hull. They've got Richard Horne at fullback, Colin Best, Richie Barnett, Toa Coelho and Steve Prescott. Paul Cook is alongside Jason Smith, the skipper. And the forwards, Craig Greenhill, Tony Smith, Scott Logan, Adam Marr, Sean Ryan, Chris Chester. Tony Smith and Chris Chester, ex-Wigan players, of course. Paul King, Richard Fletcher, Kirk Yeeman and young Graham Horne. Coach is Sean McRae. Now the Wigan Warriors, Radlinski is the fullback. Then it goes Brett Dallas, Martin Aspinwall, David Hodgson and Brian Carney, Sean O'Loughlin and Adrian Lamb. The forwards, Terry O'Connor, Mark Smith, Craig Smith, Paul Johnson moves to the second row, Mick Cassidy is injured, Danny Tickle, it's Gareth Hock at loose forward. And the substitutes, Terry Newton, Danny Sculthorpe, Stephen Wild, Sean Briscoe, and the coach is Stuart Raper. Stuart Raper will know that it's in motion. High-hanging kick-off from Danny Tickle. And underneath it, Paul Cook. And we're underway here at the KC Stadium. Hull with the best defence in Super League just now in terms of tries and points conceded. Wigan have lost 2 of their opening 4 in Super League, but they have that semi-final against the Bulls at the back of their mind next week. And Craig Smith testing the patience of the referee early on there, and Jason Smith with the kick over the top. There are 4 Smiths out there tonight and 2 Horns. Or there will be when young Graham Horne gets on the field.
A lot of people are surprised, perhaps, Sean McRae taking the gamble of putting the youngster Graham Horne, brother of Richard, the full back. But this kid is all quality, all class. A lot of people in this area feel that has even got more talent than Richard Horne, who is an international already, and that's a big call. And there's no doubt in my mind, Eddie, that Sean McRae will throw on Graham Horne into the fray at some point.
Good tackling stint here from Hull, penning Wigan inside their own half of the field.
Interesting to see in the build-up, you know, Stuart Raper wasn't anywhere to be seen. It was Craig Smith that had the entire team around him, and he was giving them the rounds of the kitchen. They'll be up for this, will Wigan, don't worry.
Good chase from the kick. Richard Horne trying to get the way through, but Johnson leading the charge with Mark Smith. And Mark Smith working hard from marker, but it's Craig Smith and also Danny Tickle there. Drive forward here by Adam Marr for Hull.
Good defence by Wigan, coming up very quickly out on that blind side. Trying to get that umbrella defence to force Hull down the middle. This is a good move as well. Tony Smith played hooker tonight. Oh, bad mistake from Chester. No advantage. They'll play the scrum.
Little shake of the head from Sean McRae. He hasn't missed coaching a team in Super League since day 1. This is his 186th match of the weekly rounds, and that's not the best start for Chris Chester. Once upon a time with Wigan, of course, 2 years there.
He had a little bit of luck. Look at the opposition. David Hodgson coming in very, very quickly. It amazes me, time after time, these top quality players take their eyes off the football. Possession is vital.
And here come Wigan again in the shape of Johnson. Wigan tonight in their change strip. Mark Smith waits at dummy half. Terry O'Connor drives the ball in over the 20-metre line. Second game back rather in 5 months for O'Connor. Mark Smith is there. Here is little Adrian Lamb. Looks to his right. Good ball, bullet pass that was. Nice jinking run there. And it was Martin Aspinwall. This is a good attack building from Wigan on the last. Lamb with the kick, but not the best. And Richard Horne picks up.
Well, he saved the day. It was a good defensive tackle here, but straight down the throat of the fullback, Richard Horne. They're not the tactics that Wigan have to employ. They've got to put that man, you just saw him briefly, Richard Horne, and Stuart Raper, the Wigan coach, knows that you've got to apply the pressure. That really should have been just dotted in nice and softly into the in-goal area.
Tony Smith at dummy half. Tips the ball inside. Scott Logan with the drive further upfield. Quick play of the ball could be the key tonight, and Jason Smith going for a 40-20, but Radlinski saw it coming. Bounces unkindly over the Wigan fullback's head. Good chase here by the men in white. And Radlinski can't get beyond Toa Love. David Hodgson there at dummy half. Here now is Brett Dallas. They'll be glad to see Dallas back. Knee reconstruction. He missed the last 12 of last year. Hodgson, the dummy half again. Tony Smith and Paul Cook in close attendance. Paul Johnson. It's been a traumatic start to the year for Paul Johnson, both on and off the field. Mark Smith, the dummy half. Lamb with the kick over the top. And a good kick too, and Carney has got pace. Prescott, though, did well to collect that. But a good chase downfield by Wigan, led by the youngsters, led by Carney. Aspinwall was in there quickly to effect the tackle.
That was a superb kick right into the corner. They realised that Steve Prescott is a former full-back, and that's probably his best position. He's obviously been selected to do a job on Brett Dallas. He knows he's got plenty of speed as Dallas, so he'll be trying to shut him down all night.
Lost the ball. And Chris Chester has come up with his second error.
Well, we saw the disgust on the face of Sean McRae, the whole coach, earlier when Chester came up with a knock-on. And there's little doubt in my mind. Lachlan over the top, but he wasn't interfering. And the loose forward, Chris Chester, really should have kept hold of that. He looks somewhat concerned, Sean McRae. I don't know why there's a smile on Chester's face. That looked a bit forward.
It looks suspicious, that is for sure, but Rudlinski got away with it, and there he was at dummy half. Oh, Craig Smith has dropped it now.
Well, exactly the same thing that happened to Chester in his first mistake. You could see Craig Smith quite openly. When the ball was coming to him, just had a little bit of a glance. We know the defence is pretty quick to get into your face, but you've just got to avoid them. Just take no notice of them whatsoever, and that was never played.
Drive forward again. Craig Smith was a little bit high then on Scott Logan. Battled over the halfway line. Here goes Tony Smith with a dart from dummy half. Now it's with Richard Horne. And on it goes again. And a chance here for Cook. Wrestled to the ground he was by Gareth Hock. Toa Love driving here from Greenhill. Oh, stolen.
Yeah.
Or knocked out.
Well, certainly two on the man there. And the young fellow Gareth Hock, the man deemed to have dragged the ball out. You see, that's a difficulty we're having, Eddie, with this new rule situation.
By the way, we had an email from Stuart Cummings this week. It's an international law. I know you called for it to be abandoned immediately last weekend. Because it's an international law, it can't be. They will review it, though, at the end of the year, and we'll see where we go. But we are stuck with this rule from now to the end of the season.
So if I have a boil on my backside, then I can't have anything wrong with it. I can't have it lanced, can't have it treated. I've got to wait until the end of the season. Come on, Eddie. If it doesn't
Steve,
work...
don't shoot the messenger.
I know, but if it doesn't work, right...
Well, it's an international rule.
Well, why don't the international board get together and sort it out? If there's a problem, if it's flooding in your house, you ring the plumber. You don't wait until the end of the week and wait till everybody's absolutely saturated and the hi-fi's under 6 foot of water. Never mind the furniture.
Well, we'd like to get one in early, and I'm sure that Steve Prescott would like to get this kick in early. None of us like the rule, Steve-O, but that's the way it is. Prescott gets the points rolling for Hull. He's been kicking well in the absence of Matt Crowther. 9 goals against Widnes in the last home game here. A Super League record for Hull. And a few smiles on the faces on the terraces, or in the seating as it is now. But no smile on Sean McRae's face. You know, I think he knows that Hull, whenever we're in town, they just get a little bit camera shy.
Well, it has been proved over the years, yes. Must understand that, but they are fully professional. I think it's just a sheer coincidence that happens. And by the way, I do hope, heaven forbid, that you think that I'm losing my cool with you.
That's the way it looks head-to-head in all league meetings. Here, level pegging, isn't it? Super League, though, it's very much Wigan's way.
Danny Tickle went right over the top.
Jason Smith just delaying the pass.
We've already seen some good runs from the dummy half from little Tony Smith. Normally the halfback, of course, but it's just injected a little bit more vigour around the play the ball area.
That's not a bad kick, as it turns out.
But he is one of the best in the world.
He never took his eye off the ball here, and Chester was the man who kicked it, playing everyone on side.
Well, any youngster watching that was caught with absolute perfection by one of the best in the game, Chris Radlinski. Arms up to the top, grabbing the ball down.
Good defence on show here. Radlinski with the very, very useful catch for his team. Wigan player hurt as he played that ball. This is O'Connor. I think it's Brett Dallas who took a bang. It is. And this now is Adrian Lamb. A dab over the top from him. Shuttling in off the wing is Prescott again. It's Richard Horne. Beg your pardon.
Good positioning by the youngster there. This is Dallas coming through the knee straight into him. Craig Greenhill is a big boy as well. He would have felt that. Well, they haven't had much luck, Wigan, this season. Been plagued with injuries.
This is Adam Marr now for Hull.
But their defence has been pretty solid so far.
Terry O'Connor all over the top. His opposite number, Craig Greenhill. Tony Smith. Here goes Chester again. That's the last. Good defence from Wigan. Little bobble there, but got away with it.
That's a great kick. Wonderful.
Carney to run the ball back.
Ooh, that was high, but he got him on the shoulder. Whew. Scott Logan. Well, Carney's in the wars. And the defence is setting up. Listen to this crowd lifting this whole football club side.
17 metres made, 3 tackles gone. That's all. Craig Smith to carry the battle at Toa Koilov. Koilov stands his ground. And the crowd rising to Hull. They're really getting behind them. Mark Smith. Here's Lamb. Went for the kick, couldn't get it away, so passed the ball inside instead to Radlinski, who hacks the ball downfield. Horne will collect. Prescott wants it wide. Horne is closed down by Aspinwall, and also there quickly Danny Tickle. Here goes Colin Best. Try against Warrington last Sunday. Oh, nearly slid over the line. Just managed to keep in the field of play.
Yeah,
Barnett now.
Just got his legs over. Incident last week, of course. Your legs or any part of your body have to actually hit the whitewash or over the sideline.
They go down the short side. Chester again.
Well, they obviously feel, Sean McRae that is, and the whole side, that this Wigan outfit got a bit of a problem on the short blind side. They've been working it exceptionally well.
That's a good kick to the corner. Radlinski is after it. It's a super kick. And it's a great chase by Colin Best on Radlinski, helped out by Toa Koilov. Wide open spaces here at the new stadium. It's a wide pitch, a long pitch, and Hull using it to perfection at the moment. This is Hodgson.
Beautiful weight as well, but I get the impression that Chris Radlinski is far from fit. He was hobbling to get back there, and I'm sure that this Hull outfit realised that now. They tested him out, and it was quite clear to anybody watching. He was struggling to get across to that ball, was Radlinski.
The kick from Lamb is fielded by Horne. He's through 4. Passed the ball out wide. The ball went backwards. It's play on because Prescott has it.
Well, they had 3-on-1 there. It wasn't the best pass. Great break from the fullback, Horne.
Here's Logan again for Hull now.
Lucky to get away with it, Wigan. They scrambled back, but it was a 3-on-1. It was try time.
Jason Smith, Paul Cook, Richard Horne, Koilov under pressure from Dallas.
Well, he tried the flick when he really should have gone for possession, and he knows it, does Koilov. And so does that fella, Sean McRae. Stuart Ray-Pat, a lot of rumours going around, especially around the Wigan area, that he may be under threat, under pressure.
Oh, surely not.
Well, doesn't matter who it is. To lose one game.
Well, such are the high standards that Wigan set, I know, but 2 games gone, or 4 games gone, 2 wins, they're in the semi-final of the Cup, for goodness sake.
I know, you just look through their record in the past. Doesn't matter whether they win trophies or not. They're still under pressure, any coach that goes to Wigan.
Well, of course, they're a champion team, champion club. But isn't that the same for any club in the Super League these days?
Of course it is. There'll be probably someone in St. Helens say we should get rid of Ian Millwood because they lost last week. You'll get one or two, don't worry.
O'Connor to Lamb. Good kick. And an invitation for Dallas to chase it. And Horn did well. And Dallas did well.
It's an awkward bounce. Need to be ambling across very leisurely. Richard Horn. It was a bad bounce, but good work there by Brett Dallas.
Well, it's bubbling on nicely, isn't it? It's a good contest so far. He's lost it. Knock on against Hull.
Well, 3 bad mistakes.
Colin Best, the man who just simply dropped the ball.
Oh no, it was just jagged away at the last moment. Pull it.
David Hodgson, I think he gave himself
well,
up
he did.
then.
He did. He said, well, I definitely pull it out, but got away with it.
A chance here then for Wigan to attack. This is Sean O'Loughlin. Gets to his feet, plays it to Lamb. Ball goes wide. And Craig Smith driving the ball in, looking for a penalty. Didn't come. O'Connor then, 10 metres away. Terry O'Connor.
Good run by the prop forward. Watch on the blind side. Will Wigan work it? No, they're coming open.
With Radlinski, who's down a blind alley. That's good defence from Greenhill. They shuttle him in to a cul-de-sac then. Oh, and nearly that ball was spilled. Here is Johnson.
Well, Johnson, the man with the football now, was clearly calling for it. They're just at 6s and 7s at the moment to Wigan.
That was Gareth Hock at dummy half. Lamb skips away from the would-be challenge of Greenhill. It's a good kick over the top. Prescott claims it and is bundled over the line. Offside
in front of the kicker.
No, it's a dropout.
Oh, I thought he'd given the penalty.
No, dropout, and a great tackle too by those two. Carney one of them, Aspinwall the other. Waited till he hit the ground before they effected the tackle. But were they in front? Were they offside?
Well, it's a 50-50 call either way. Wigan will be happy with it. That's the pressure kick that I was talking about. Remember, it was a wasted effort early in this match when Adrian Lamb put it right down the throat of Richard Horn. But that creates the pressure.
Second consecutive set of 6 then for Wigan, and Craig Smith takes the first tackle from Adam Mark Smith. Here comes O'Connor again. Straight up the middle. Good to see Terry O'Connor back in the Super League fray. He's had his injury problems over the past 5 months or so. This is Danny Tickle. Manages to get the ball away. This is good hands from Wigan. Lamb, he gets it away to Johnson. Johnson then to Radlinski. Goes wide to Dallas. Dallas cuts in field. He's missed by Toakoe Love. Good job that Smith and Best are there. Hock again in at dummy half. Good pressure here from Wigan. Lamb, kick over the top again. Prescott's there. There's a Wigan man down. But Prescott will launch the attack.
Oh, swinging arm then. Well, they're testing Prescott, aren't they? Unaccustomed role on the wing, but he's been equal to the task. This is the kick from Lamb. Greenhill, shoulder charge, nothing in it.
Greenhill takes the tackle.
Well, I've been impressed with Wigan's defence so far. They're working as a unit.
Richard Horn.
Release! Make the 10. Lady, bring him with you. Hold, Terry.
Tony Smith waits. Jason Smith receives. Goes further wide to Chester, and then wide again. And that was an awful pass from Richie Barnett. And I think he knows it. Well, quite a start, Phil. What do you think?
It's a great start for both sides, isn't it? I think we're going to be quite pleased. The fact, another 2 points behind, but they've played the majority of the game so far inside the Hull half, and some of the kicks have been fantastic. You saw them force a goal line dropout. The Hull coach there, Sean McRae, just talking to his assistant John Keir. Really not happy, really, and probably soon to send on a direction to some of his teammates. The game's just stopped at the moment, and really it has stopped very little before that. The hooker Mark Smith injured. We're going to look if they've got Terry Newton on the bench, an international hooker who could step in if Smith can't continue, but he looks okay. Good start by both sides.
Clarkie, did it surprise you that Wigan did start with Terry Newton on the bench?
Well, for the last few weeks it's looked that way. Terry apparently has some sort of a knee problem, and rather than bring Mark Smith off the bench and try and get an impact from him, they've done it the other way around. Terry Newton's a talented player who can play in the back row as well, so I expect to see him come on. He's one guy who impresses me though, Terry O'Connor. To imagine that he's only actually trained by running 4 times. He's now playing his second game, his 5th month, He just doesn't look out of place.
That was a near break there by Radlinski, fed by Lamb. Lamb's at the heart of everything at the moment. Not the best pass though, it bounced off the Wigan man.
Looked to touch forward as well.
It came off O'Loughlin.
And that really was forward. Well, only half breaks yet again. My mind goes back to that very wet night. I think it was a fortnight ago, Eddie, when Hull took on London.
Offside, Wigan.
There was not one clean break as we know it. That means broken right through into open play. And we haven't seen many tonight either. No doubt about it. 3 or 4 to select from. Went for Danny Tickle.
Pretty tight, isn't it? 2-0. But Hull with the best defence in Super League, as I say.
Back with me, come on, no penalties, come on me.
It's important that Hull put points on the board here very, very quickly. I think they're becoming a little bit frustrated. Far too many errors. A couple of bad passes.
Chances here, though, as Horn joins the line. Slips the pass away. That's Sean Ryan. Gareth Hock wrestling him to the floor with David Hodgson. Jason Smith, Cook, and on to Adam Marr.
Make it, get up, make it.
Tony Smith.
Well, this is where Jason Smith has to take first man, bring someone back on the inside. He's a pass master of it.
He wanted it, Jason Smith. They've gone the other way. Now they'll go to Logan. Logan spun away from one.
That's another high shot from Johnson.
The referee waited then to see if anything developed. It didn't.
Well, he lined him up. And there was a swinging arm already from O'Connor. Didn't make much contact. I can assure you that Paul Johnson did. There's a swinging arm. He just spun around at Logan and crack. He would have felt that.
Well, in a match of this intensity and as close as this, it's no surprise that Steve Prescott's going to have a second shot at goal here with this penalty.
It also shows you the problem, Eddie, that having to put Paul Johnson into the second row.
So 10 metres away, Prescott having a great season. 10 tries in all games so far. Tries in each of his last 3, but he's goal kicking here because Crowther is out injured and he's doubled Hull's lead. It's 4-0, but there's nothing in it. Absolutely nothing. And there is Andy Farrell, and that was the young man who last June tipped the scales Wigan's way. 2 tries, 5 goals and a drop goal in their 31-24 victory. Not here though, over at the Boulevard. And of course they're missing Farrell, Wigan. But the crowd's rolling up to this new stadium, Steve-O. It's given everybody a lift in this fair city.
Well, it's wonderful. Everyone gets a seat. You can great viewing areas from all around the ground. Then you feel comfortable. The only thing they're not feeling comfortable about is that they expected Hull to have more points on the board.
Long way to go yet, though. Only 22 minutes gone. Hull ahead 4-0. This is Ryan again.
They seem pretty happy as well. You're using the big forwards, trying to just pulverise through this defence. It's only on 3 occasions so far that they've tried the link to the 3 quarters out wide.
Wonder if they're testing, Steve-O, this young pack's tenacity, this for the physical tenacity.
Well, of course, they've got to send it to them, and if they can get that roll on, and that's the reason why they put Smith in the dummy half position. It was only a grab.
He was nearly through. O'Loughlin got to him, though. This is the last tackle. Jason Smith with a high hanging kick. It's a belter as well. Radlinski, the crowd, ball in the air, did their best to put him off, but as Steve-O said earlier on, Radlinski, one of the best in the world.
Well,
cool head.
You'd have to put that down as a very, very poor kick there by Jason Smith.
Well, the kick was poor.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. I mean, the take was outstanding.
The chase was poor.
Yeah, and here comes Newton. And that's a good move by Stuart Raper.
Mark Smith took a bang earlier on. Now off.
Give him time.
Well, for the same
nuggety personality, Terry Newton, that's for sure. Here's Colin Best now.
Well, for the same reason, Eddie, is the fact that Sean McRae has used Tony Smith to get a little bit more action in and around the play the ball area. We'll see that now.
Well, I wonder if it was forced by injury or it's tactics, Bill.
Well, there's an element of injury about it, Eddie. I'm sure it was going to happen later, but not this soon. And Mark Smith just on the sidelines at the moment, having attention to the left shoulder and also flexing his left hand. He's obviously jarred it. Don't think that anticipated bringing Terry Newton into the fray this early on, but he's bound to want to have an impact now that he's in there, although Wigan have now conceded another kickable penalty.
Yes, I think it was Danny Tickle who didn't clear the ruck. He was certainly involved, Tickle. And Carl Kirkpatrick, a shrill blow on the whistle. Yeah, there it is. He's trying to get out of the way, to be fair to him, but Logan did well. Popped the ball down, wanting to get on with it.
Well, you've been a stickler for the rules, Eddie, tonight, so I'll just say to you that once you've made the tackle, if you're on the ground, you have to roll away, not regain your feet in the area where the opposition are about to play the ball. Section C13.
You know it off by heart, of course.
Well, I may be one out. It could be 12.
Third chance then for Prescott. This for a 6-0 lead. Faultless so far. 36 metres away. Got under it a bit, but I think he's got the distance, but he hasn't got the direction. That could be a costly miss in a match as close as this. Dallas scragged to the floor by Cook. Now Cook's in the ruck. He's going to be penalised.
Yep. It goes for both sides. And you know, that's what the players want. Consistency with the officials. And the crowd, they realise it, they know it. And in the past he's come up with a few boo-boos, but haven't we all? And he's handling this game very well indeed. Take a bow for the 25.5 minutes played.
It's Danny Sculthorpe, 10 metres inside his own half. This is Johnson. Oh, big hit by Jason Smith. Terrific tackle. Stopped Johnson in his tracks then. O'Connor testing them out.
A lot of responsibility on this prop forward, O'Connor. Obviously lacking match fitness.
Good run from Terry Newton. Back it goes to Johnson. Here is Lamb. He'll go wide, and a little fumble by Sean O'Loughlin.
Not the best pass, to be fair to him. He was always dipping, and he was instead of running onto the football, you can see that he was hanging back. Good attention by Chris Chester, loose forward. So he was trying to take the ball and step and go back on off the right foot to go through the gap, because you could see that Chester was coming in at the angle. Good talent, this kid.
Yes, he has it in abundance. Debut as a sub in the 18-20 home defeat against Hull exactly a year ago, by the way. This is Barnett.
First real involvement there from the centre, Barnett.
Best to Greenhill. And a loose pass from Greenhill, but they got away with it.
Well, Hull, about 5 or 6 times so far, they've tried to utilise the 2 dummy runners where they bring the 3/4 round on the second phase of attack. Trouble is, the pass isn't all that good.
Here's Jason Smith now attacking the line, taking them on. Beautiful pass. Cook.
Back to 6.
Flicked and touched. He's got it back. It's a knock-on, though. A knock-on against Dallas.
It's a try-saver, though. And they know it. Colin Best would have snapped that up. He would have gone in at the corner, and Brett Dallas took a huge gamble. Came right on midfield. Beautiful pass, though, wasn't it, from Jason Smith to Paul Cook. Look at this. Superb. Took it well to the standoff. And that was try time for Best.
This might be it now for Coelov. No, good tackling. Low down, O'Loughlin and Radlinski. Jason Smith. Jason Smith just delaying the pass again, taking them on. Hock and Johnson to bring the Hull captain down, who's hurt in that tackle. Had a caught a stray knee. Tony Smith. Richard Horne. Logan. Logan on one leg. Gets the ball away to Horne, who puts it down.
Well, he did all that work, and he just took the eyes off the football. At all time, you've got to watch it. See how he just had a little look to his left. Cannot afford to do that. He knows it. No doubt Sean McRae will just have a little bit of a word. Just took his eyes, you can see him just a little look there to the left-hand side. Sufficient to come up with a mistake.
Big hit by Barnett on Brian Carney. They're certainly giving their former teammate Brian Carney a bit whenever he gets the ball. Amazing though, you know, we've been playing nearly half an hour here, nearly 110 minutes, and we've yet to see the first Hull try on this new ground. But they have been scoring in the past, haven't they, Phil?
They have, and I think we're going to be delighted. We've seen some gaps in the last few minutes appear, maybe in the Wigan defence, but to keep Hull trialless for almost half an hour will be a goal that I'm sure Wigan will be delighted with. I'm just looking at Andy Farrell here. He started the match watching from about 3 rows back in the front, moved down to sit on the subs bench, and he's now sat on the ice box next to Physio, about 2 metres from the field. I guess he's just dying to get on there and try and help his teammates.
Kick down. The line was from O'Loughlin. Richard Horne is there to pick it up for Hull. It's a good chase by Wigan.
Leading the way, Terry Newton as well. He can have a huge impact on this game. And again we see, oh, nearly got through Best.
Colin Best almost through. Important tackle there by Adrian Lamb. This now is Adam Marr. Wrestled to the ground by O'Loughlin. Not too much wrong with this Wigan side, you know, Steve-O. Not too much at all.
Well, there's a lot
Wonderful
of
talent.
There's a lot of youngsters, but there's a heck of a lot of experience out there as well. And getting to a point where Hull must feel somewhat frustrated. That's a great kick.
Between the two of them.
Yeah.
Carney and Radlinski. Now then, Carney, boos ringing in his ears, and Chester with the chase.
Could have been penalised there, Chester. That was silly play.
David Hodgson now.
He'd done the tackle, and he went for a second bite. Got away with it.
Dallas. Good run from dummy half.
Well, I've got to agree with Clarkey on the sideline that Stuart Raper, the Wigan coach, if it stays like this to half-time, he'll be more than happy.
Gareth Hock again, just 19 years of age, one of the outstanding talents, the young outstanding talents in the British game at the moment, Gareth Hock. A lot of people are already saying he's a candidate for the Young Player of the Year award at the end of the season. A bit early for that maybe, but he certainly will set the credentials down the longer he has a place in this Wigan side.
That was a poor kick yet again from Adrian Lamb. That's one of the tactics that Wigan are employing tonight that has really got me baffled. They've tested him on 4 occasions. He's come up with a ball on every one of them. And they should be doing what Hull have done, and that's splitting both the full-back Horne and, of course, the both wingers, failing to do that.
Scampering run from Tony Smith. Good drive in here now from Richard Fletcher. 10 metres inside the Wigan half of the field. Last tackle here for Hull. And Tony Smith just content to drill the ball over the touchline and help the mistake from the Wigan head and feet at the scrum.
Well, he knew that there was no one there setting up for the kick out on his right-hand side. And he's having a few words to say to his charges, saying, listen, come on, let's think a little bit more. That's what's needed. Plenty of half chances. But the black and whites still yet to get over the whitewash.
Third in a row for Tony Smith, by the way, at hooker. Oh, little half break. Good job that Fletcher was there because Aspinwall thought he was away.
Well, this Wigan outfit now, especially the youngster, will just have a sniff of the feeling out there and they think, hey, come on. We arrived here, the underdogs, which is very, very rare, I must say. But they're gaining confidence.
Not a great pass.
It's going to be a forward.
And it is.
Well, not the best quality in the passing department. And you could see there he was trying to use Tickle as the dummy runner, but when Tickle went through, it was always going forward.
I think they're a little concerned on the Hull bench about Jason Smith, by the way. He's just moved out to the wing just to take a breather. Now he's going back into the pack there. Number 13 will pack down at loose forward. But he's had a bit of running repairs from the Hull trainer. Took a heavy knock earlier, you may remember, in that tackle. Maybe caught an accidental knee or something. Here is Paul King.
He could prove the distance. He has to go over that distance, over the line, make it the advantage line. And this now they've got to go back to it, and they're going back to the tactics of utilising the forwards. Quick play the ball, that's what's needed.
Tony Smith. Cook. Fletcher. Wigan defence standing firm. Jason Smith in the thick of it again. Dipping pass, picked up by Chris Chester. High hanging kick. Carney was underneath it and did well, but he's trapped in goal.
Great work from Prescott. Wonderful stuff. Plenty of height there. A good kick from Chester. Going for the man, knew the momentum would slide him in. The set of 6.
And you say that so often this can be so crucial to get the repeat set.
Especially if you get the 3rd set, Eddie.
Sean McRae looking sartorially elegant tonight. If I remember rightly, he used to wear a tracksuit at the old stadium. I think it's a new image, new stadium.
Elegance.
A bit like yourself, Steve-O.
Looks as though he's found himself a new tailor too.
King with a drive in. Well, all this pressure from Hull, no try to show for it yet. Richard Horne.
This time he's really injected himself into the attacking line.
King, first receiver, drives it in again. Newton stands his ground.
That was a big hit from the hooker, Newton.
Tony Smith. Chester, good ball. Great defence, Tickle. Great tackle on Barnett. They're just creaking a bit. Kick to the corner. He's claimed it. He's claimed the try.
He certainly has.
I think he diffused the knock-on by catching it before it hit the deck.
He lost it first count, but regathered in the in-goal area. Magnificent kick there from Jason Smith. And from this angle, he looks onside, putting pressure on Dallas. They both go for it. He gets to it, bobs. He says, I'm going down, I'm going to take it, and I am going to score the T-R-Y. No doubt in my mind.
And no doubt in the crowd's mind. You can probably hear them in the background. They've watched that on our big screen.
Wonderful skills there, little doubt. Listen to the crowd with the TRY. He just wants to make sure, as the video referee, there was no bobble. And that is try time. Well, how many times has the Hull skipper, Jason Smith, come up with a kick into the corner? Well, I don't know why they're having to look at it again. He's taken it and he's regathered. You can do that, no problem.
And the grounding's perfect. Jeff Berry, though, is the man who will make the decision, not us. What say you, Mr. B?
TRY.
They get the try. They were celebrating long before those 3 letters appeared on the screen. And we have seen Hull's first try on Sky Sports at this new stadium. It's been a long time coming, but they got there in the end.
Long pass. Smith made sure that he was out wide. And he was all on his own there, wasn't he, Dallas? And Colin Best certainly was that, wasn't he? The better of the two. Good juggling act.
Kicks on its way from Prescott. Just creeps over the ball. Hull hit double figures. Hull 10, Wigan 0. Try scorer Colin Best tries in successive games now. A cup win, a cup try against Halifax here in February. Colin Best became the first ever try scorer for Hull at this new stadium. Suddenly an instant hero. 10-0, kick-off from Tickle. Just what Sean McRae would have wanted. But you made the point, you and Clarkey both made the point, Steve-O, that if it stayed at 4-0 to half-time, Stuart Raper would be a relieved man. And they have now got the head and feet coming up here at this scrum.
Well, a bad time to come up with an error like that. But Clarkey, it amazes me, the skills of this Hull skipper, Jason Smith. He must have at least 50% creativity in regards to kicks into the corner for his wingman.
Fascinating to see how they play without him now. He's just left the field I think maybe a reoccurrence of a sternum injury, and young Graham Horne's come on. But Wigan are dangerous to Aspinwall. It's a great battle in the centres, the two Brits for the Wigan side, Aspinwall and Hodgson, against the Kiwis, Coy Love and Barnett.
It was a bad time to come up with a mistake, Eddie, wasn't it? It's another amazing factor about our game of rugby league.
Driving from Craig Smith again there, and Stuart Raper's down on the sideline. It's a knock-on, I think.
It's a little
knock-on against Sculthorpe. And Stuart is prowling the touchline.
Just lost control of it. Tried to get away with it, just flicked it with his finger first. No doubt in my mind, Sculthorpe has lost it, sadly. And then you see the action of Carl Kirkpatrick. Well, I must say, Kirkpatrick is on the ball. I've been impressed with his positioning, and I've also been impressed with the way that he's got on with the game on hand. No chatting like a good mate to the players. He's just getting on with his job.
Yes, good performance from Carl Kirkpatrick so far. By the way, Graham Horne at 18 has just dramatically dropped the average age. Play on.
Oh, that really was a high shot.
Well, we've got some news of Jason Smith in a moment, but let's just see how this develops, because Aspinwall's played the ball. Here is Lamb. Long pass out wide. Oh, and I think we're going to blow the opportunity they have. Hull have it back. So what is the news of Jason Smith, Bill?
It's a bit of a worry for Hull FC, Eddie, because he's been taken off with a bruised sternum, and that can be a really tricky injury to clear up. I remember, I think it was Sean Ryan had that problem last season. It took him ages to get over it. Well, Hull don't appear to be too concerned at the moment, but certainly the absence of Jason Smith is a big worry for them.
It is, and Jason Smith also, we believe, had a sternum problem last year as well. And they are very, very painful, aren't they?
Certainly did, Eddie. And you have to be ultra tough to go through a match when you've got that sort of injury.
It's time for likes of Tony Smith to stand up and be counted. That was a good run from him. Gave it to Adam Marr. Last one.
It's not just in the event of brewing the tackle or actually being tackled, Eddie. Every time you move, your body moves, it sends down a shudder of pain through the body.
That was a great kick from Tony Smith. Carney is trapped. Great chase from Hull. They're full of enthusiasm for this. Radlinski can't get through them.
I reckon the message has gone out by Sean McRae. Say, listen, Jason's on the sideline with an injury. We need you to lift, and lift good and proper. Well, they're certainly doing that.
Sculthorpe to his feet, 20 metres away from his own line. Plays the ball, Newton. Offloads. Gives it back.
Make the 10 hole. No penalties, come on.
To his feet again, Sculthorpe. Newton once more. Lamb just delayed the pass. Oh, it was nearly through. It was a good job that Greenhill was there. Last tackle here as they count down towards half-time in the stadium. Big hoof downfield. It comes from Sean O'Loughlin.
And it's a better kick as well. That's a super kick. He's got to run it out. He knew that the time was up.
Yes, he'd seen the big screen clock ticking down. Sean O'Loughlin's kick just tapped dead by Prescott, so that's half-time, and Hull have a 10-0 lead at the break. Wigan restricted, no real glimmer of a try. Some hard work done by both sides. The try coming from Colin Best, Prescott with 3 goals, and that's why we have the 10-0 scoreline at the break. But Hull without Jason Smith, how will they do in the second half?
Maybe the half-time break did come at just the right moment, but they've got to get on the board very quickly, Wigan.
They have, they will know that. That will be Stuart Raper's instructions, I'm sure, and we'll be checking on what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time shortly. But Hull know if they maintain this winning margin, if they win by this 10 points tonight, they will sit top of the Super League table, albeit ahead of the fixture at Nosey Road tomorrow between St Helens and Leeds and the rest of the round on Sunday. But for the time being at least, if they maintain this 10-point winning margin, Hull will be top of the tree tonight.
Be a good feeling as well for the players and Sean McRae.
Great incentive for the second half.
Certainly is, and they were quite impressive in that first 40.
High kick from O'Loughlin here.
I thought the kicking game was good. They'll obviously miss the kicking game from Jason Smith, but they've got 2 out there that can just deputising Tony Smith and of course the loose forward Chris Chester, who produced quite a few good kicks in that first stanza.
It's Hull who are in possession. They're 20 metres away from their own line. And just a reminder for you, we have the double header from Australia coming up this weekend again. Saturday 10:30, Sky Sports 2, the Cowboys and the Broncos up there in Queensland. And same time on Sunday morning, same channel, the Sharks and the Roosters, plus all the other highlights, all the other tries scored in the NRL. That's the Australians. And don't forget this one, Saturday 6 o'clock, Sky Sports 1, the Saints and Leeds Rhinos. It's live with us. Knock on by Dallas. A brave dive around the feet though. Just couldn't take the ball in.
A little bit of lady luck in the kick. You see he couldn't get it through it. He was very brave, as Eddie mentioned. But it was a late kick from Tony Smith. Should have got it away. And, well, he paid the price, didn't he, by putting his body on the line.
Well, he did. And this is an opportunity for Hull with their second consecutive set of 6. Paul Cook in at dummy half, coming down this short side again.
He's had a big game, this fella.
With Greenhill.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Talk about rolling the sleeves up and saying, I'm going to do some work.
There's Graham Horn, the dummy half. Paul King and Smith, and he jinks inside one, but he can't get away from the next man in. And it was the substitute Stephen Wild who made an important tackle with Sculthorpe. Now Richard Horn, Paul King again, driving the ball in. Crucial stage of the match, this.
Good play that. King brought in and sucked in 3 would-be players. Quick play of the ball, that's the...
Chester with the kick, try!
Yeah.
If he's onside, it's Adam Marr. The referee will hand it on to Jen Berry again.
Onside and the grounding.
Was he onside? And he also wants to have a look at the grounding. Well, this could be a critical decision from Jeff Berry. It really could, because this could knock the stuffing out of Wigan.
No, he's onside easy. They'll just go to see whether now... Yeah, he's well behind him. Half a metre, and he'll check for the grounding. Very casual about it as well. No problem.
Listen to this crowd.
TRY time. Beautiful tactics, though. Paul Cook. The kick was superb. He knew exactly what to do, did the second rower, Adam Marr. They were desperately going towards the football.
Not convinced, Steve-O, Jeff Berry?
Well,
not convinced.
Oh, come on.
Had a long look at that.
Well, I don't know why.
Well, he looks like he's happy now. Listen to the crowd if this is a try. They'll raise the roof here. Adam Marr, first try of the year. 100 Super League appearances now. He reached the milestone against Warrington last week. The girls are dancing. They're celebrating on the sidelines as well. A dream start for Hull at the beginning of this second period.
Beautiful set piece, wasn't it? The ability to read the game, that's what it came about. Paul Cook knew exactly that Marr was coming in on the left-hand side. Great effort.
So Prescott now with another difficult conversion attempt. Not as tough as the one he scored in the first half, but he's screwed that the wrong side of the post. 14-0 though, Hull, and coincidentally last time Wigan nilled at St Helens Easter Monday last year.
There you see the suck the 2 defender, just a little kick through. Excellent stuff. Oh, he did very well, didn't he? The lumbering second rower, as is often referred to. He may have lumbered, but he was the king of the forest then. Took the 4 points.
Well, Adam Marr got a couple of tries against Wigan at the Boulevard in Stuart Raper's first game in charge that they lost 46 points to 10. Now the 14-0 up, a little belatedly. Let's go down to Bill for the half-time news.
Hull coach Sean McRae will be delighted with that start. His side following his instructions to the tee, putting the pressure on the Wigan defence and then taking the chances that come their way. They know they're going to be few and far between in this game. It really is a battle of attrition out there. And they're probably going to have to do it without Jason Smith, because he does have that sternum injury. He came out at the start of the second half and looked very uncomfortable indeed. I understand that they'll try and avoid putting him back out there if they can get away with it. And if they carry on with this progress, they should be able to do that. Wigan coach Stuart Raper up to that point was pleased with the effort from his side in that first 40 minutes. Just wanted them to be a bit more decisive in the Hull red zone when they get some pressure on that Hull line, which they haven't been able to do very often.
Another great kick from Tony Smith. The ball is flicked back. Hull still have it. I think that was a knock-on by Lamb.
Certainly was.
No, it was off the knee. It was off the knee, he says.
Ooh, it looks...
Turnover.
Well, he's got a grin all over his face. That's how he plays rugby league football, is this fella, Adrian Lamb. Pretty close, hard to tell from there. There's the incident. They're trying to keep the ball alive. It was on the last.
Hull have got it back. Didn't last long. Toa Koelov swooping on the mistake. This is Paul King. Lamb with the tackle low down, and Newton. Graham Horne, the dummy half. Richard Horne. Wide it goes to Chester. Oh, and Barnett bounces off his chest and then knock on the other way. It'll be Wigan head and feed. First one.
He's not having a good night. Richie Barnett, the Kiwi. There again, you could see he just had a little glance at the would-be tackler. Got tons of experience.
And such quality if they can keep him fit. Well, they've transferred to a new stadium, but it's the old faithful song.
Well, they'll never get rid of that. And if they shifted off to Timbuktu.
Hull offside now.
Well, it's this time where Wigan have to just compose themselves, not get too excited. Just chip away, try to use the forwards and build a little bit of a platform, then maybe come up with a set pattern move. But they've got to get pretty close. Oh, it's through!
Great break from Lamb. Good tackle from Marr, the try scorer, try save then. But for how long? Good movement from Wigan out wide.
Hold the line.
Looked a bit of a fumble at the play, the ball then wide to Dallas. Great tackle. Colin Best. No wonder they go to him and pat him on the head.
Rightly so.
Dallas gets through there, he's in.
But he stood his ground. It's all about reading the pass. And he was not going to be sucked right across. Colin Best knew that there was a very narrow margin towards the touchline. And he didn't get sucked into David Hodgson's pass.
So, oh, dearie me. Hakon, Radlinski here. He's so close.
No advantage. He'll take the knock on. Well, I would deem that to be of a pretty good advantage.
I was going to say
6 inches from the line.
Why not play on there, I wonder?
That has me
They were under the sticks.
a bit concerned. This is the incident.
Unless he's seen a little knock on there by Radlinski, maybe.
Well, probably he has done. That's the only reason why he could do that. Now then, it's desperate that Wigan get it. They've got to come up with a set pattern move.
Put the ball in the scrum.
He knows it too.
Well, if the try for Hull at the start of this second half was critical, this is an important phase of the play now. If Wigan can get something from this with Aspinwall, it will give them such a lift. Carney waits at dummy half. 10 metres away.
He's
Lost the ball. Was it? No, I was going to say, was it stolen? No, it wasn't.
Knock on. Well, mistakes are plenty.
Irish international, once upon a time a big favourite in this part of the world.
Just lost control.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Good
when you're airborne.
Yeah, but good harassment there from Chester. He wasn't deliberately going for the ball. Well, the eagle eye of Carl Kirkpatrick tonight has been outstanding.
Now then, Hull will try and work the ball away from their own line with Richard Horne.
I must say, Eddie, it was a bit of a nightmare for the officials last weekend. And let's hope that Mr. Kirkpatrick is setting the scene for the next round. Take note, please.
Tony Smith.
Whoa, it's a big one. He's hurt. That's taking the wind out of him.
Graham Horne down the right-hand side. Well, 10-7, the stats and the handling errors, the missed tackles. Level pegging there, but not on the scoreboard. Hull with a 14-0 lead, just coming up to 10 minutes. And possession in this second half has been all Hull. And here they come again. Well, that was a poor ball for Barnett. It was either a poor ball from Marr or Barnett just didn't read the script then.
Well, trying to be too fancy.
Here's Newton for Wigan.
We've got to go back to the situation whereby just utilise the big forwards. Adam Marr sending out an awful pass. It's not beyond them, the Wigan.
Oh, young Danny Sculthorpe here, taking a knock to the face.
Looked a touch high as well.
This is Craig Smith.
But it surprised me that Hull are trying to keep this ball. It was high. They're trying to keep this ball alive when really they just want to consolidate. Got a commanding lead.
Madlinski with the ball to Stephen Wild.
It only
Good drive from him.
Only takes a good break. The converted try.
Last tackle here for Wigan. Here's Lamb. Expect the kick. He's got away from one. Here's Tickle. Oh! Richie Barnett sized him up, waited for him to get the ball. Clatter.
Well, he hasn't had many opportunities in the attacking mode, but when you defend like that, outstanding. Tickle didn't know what had hit him.
Tackle not completed. Richard Horne gets up and carries on.
Getting a bit tired now, Wigan. You can always tell that when quite a few of them are just starting to swing the arm and look at the ability now that they're getting over the advantage. Phil, I get the impression that this Wigan defence is tiring very quickly.
I think both sides have upped their efforts and intensity in defence and both been very aggressive. Good show ball.
Brilliant ball to Fletcher. Support from Logan. Carney gets to him with an important tackle. Back to you in a minute, Phil. Prescott at dummy half, 3 metres away. Young Graham Horne, 18 years of age. He had his birthday just the last couple of days. Paul King waits at dummy half. Whoops, a fiddle. A kick out wide from Chester, easily diffused by Brett Dallas, and Hull with a player down.
Beautiful, the delayed pass from Chester. He's impressed me tonight. Sent the big fella through there, but full credit to Wigan. They scrambled back somehow. It looked for all the world as though it was going to be a try, and the man who we thought was going to score it is down injured.
Yes, Scott Logan. Looks like he might have twisted an ankle. So Hull just short of numbers as Sculthorpe drives forward. Chester sticks to the task. That's a great ball. Lamb. A good job. Oh, Ryan, you're leaning all over him, and he was.
Silly play, and he knows it. Referees, this is what they don't want. And Adrian Lamb, he says, I fear nobody. Goes back for a second go. Well, this is something that Sean McRae will not want. He will be wanting to keep this ball alive and try to run this Wigan outfit who are a little bit tired. And when you get situations like that, and it looks bad news down at the other end as well. Scott Logan has been looks as though he's about to be stretching off. That's
a huge blow. It's a huge blow, with Jason Smith also on the sideline.
And not only that, at a time where tempers are fraying.
Well, the referee's laid the law down. He's given Wigan the penalty, and then there was pushing and shoving and swinging. Now you can see Ryan there. He's looking to make sure his defensive line's set.
And not surprisingly, he's been penalised. He could have actually been sin-binned, you know, because that was, in my opinion, classified as a professional foul.
Well, Wigan had the penalty. They have the territory. Can they make something of it? This is Tickle, as sadly Logan is taken off the field on a stretcher. Good defence. Sad sight to see a warrior like Logan leaving the field in that way. O'Loughlin, Aspinwall, another big hit by Richie Barnett.
All it needs is just that little break. Keep your eye on Terry Newton. Oh,
Danny Sculthorpe does brilliantly well. And this is Newton. Flicks the ball over the top. Tickle. Looks on the inside. Craig Smith is there. Ryan and King.
They got the numbers out left of Wigan.
And that's the way they're going with Lamb. And Lamb, it got out there eventually to Dallas, but Colin Best with a good tackle again. Last one here for Wigan. Dallas takes over, a kick and out.
Wasted. Sheer look of disgust on the face of the coach, Stuart Raper.
Well, despair and frustration, I think.
Well, not
as
only
much
that,
as disgust.
Not only that, Eddie, Stuart Raper realises that instead of trying to keep the ball fancy and offload, they should have been applying the kick into the in-goal area. just put more and more pressure, and the nerves will start jangling in the minds of this Hull side.
Get on with it.
Another.
There are 2 more Hull players down.
Simon.
I think one of them is Toakoe Love, and there's another one over there on the far side as well. That's Fletcher receiving treatment. Toakoe Love's got a problem with his shoulder.
Yep, he's holding his arm very badly indeed.
Well, this win, if it actually turns into a win for Hull, will come at a price. Logan stretch it off. Jason Smith sternum. Coe Love with an obvious problem. Radlinski having to be brave, and is. And they've used 6 out of the 12 subs have Hull so far. Remember, it's 4 subs on the bench and 12 changes allowed. Paul King nearly drilling Brian Carney into the ground. This is a good period for Wigan, and Lamb is leading the way.
They've done a good job on Adrian Lamb as well. They've taken no dummies, and there's another one down. I think it's Craig Smith.
And there's another Wigan player. They're going down like 9 pins. That's Hodgson.
Well, it's been a tough encounter. Very fast play from both sides. But
Great
this is
tackle there by young Horn.
this
That's
is a
Graham Horn.
brave effort from Wigan.
Lamb with a kick to the corner, looking for Carney. Carney got to it, and the ball finds its way over the touchline. A decision here for the touch judge and the referee. It's Wigan head and feed.
Now Wigan ball put in touch by Hull.
Well, it was a good high kick. Well, I'm not so sure.
Touch judge's call this.
Prescott certainly goes up for it.
Time off.
No, that was Carney as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't matter. It was a 50-50 call.
Time on. Time on. Let's go.
It looked as though it went off Carney's left arm.
Hold him up.
But the official do not have... Well, that's a bad side, isn't it?
Head in.
Another one
Sculthorpe, I think it is.
taken off the field. They've got men out wide. Hodgson's one of them.
Good sliding defence. Outstanding that.
Important tackle by Cook. Dallas. O'Loughlin.
They're forcing him to one-out football. They're only relying really on the kick from Adrian Lamb.
Here is Lamb. Just dropped the shoulder. 3 of them converge on him.
Again, he tries to create the dummy. They were having none of it.
Newton tips the ball inside. This is Johnson. Well, young Graham Horn's earning his stripes. Terry Newton now dumps the ball back again. Wigan have got to chance their arm. Here is Radlinski. Radlinski to the corner. Dallas. Oh, the ball just beats him. It was good thinking.
Was it ever? No one at home. There wasn't a Hull player within Cooey. Look at that. Well, that was a try gone begging, and this is the reaction. And rightly so.
Well played, though, he said.
Oh, of
Gave
course he
him
was.
credit for the kick, and it was well played by Radlinski. So close.
Well, that would be
Well, Toakoe Love is off.
a real irritant, Eddie, to not come up with a try at this particular point.
Well, so much pressure.
Just come out to...
Let's go.
Well, there's a
The
problem
third
there
quarter.
for Coe Love's left arm. There's no doubt about that.
well, he went down very badly. He went in awkward into a tackle.
Been a very physical game.
This ain't Tiddlywinks, Eddie.
I appreciate that, but don't often see people being carried off on stretchers and then carried off by trainers and then leaving the field with arms in problems as well.
40-20.
It's a 40-20 attempt, but it's skewed down the middle.
Sliced by Tony Smith. Radlinski after it. Tony Smith leading the charge. He gives it instead to Carney. Barnett and Tony Smith with the tackle. Here come Wigan again. They've not given this up, this Wigan side. Why should they? There's plenty of time left. Still haven't played an hour yet. And Hull getting through these subs.
Well, I wonder when this Hull defence will take one of those dummies from Adrian Lamb. He's sent out many throughout this game, but they have not been fooled at all.
Newton now from dummy half. Ball's flicked out the back door. Play on, off the deck. Here they come again. That's Gareth Hock. Good hit by King. Little push from King as well. Last tackle here. Wigan going for the power play with O'Loughlin. Great defence. Great defence. Well, they've been coming on and off the field, and there's another one coming off now. Dallas. Let's get the injury news from Bill.
Well, this really has been a ferocious contest, and it's not surprising that there have been so many injuries. And the latest head count is, we already heard about Jason Smith and his sternum injury. Turcoy Love looks like left shoulder. Scott Logan stretchered off. That looks like an ankle injury. They're not certain how serious it is, whether it's ligament or an actual fracture of that ankle. Stephen Wild off for Wigan. That looks like an ankle injury as well. Brett Dallas off, and that looks like a hamstring. He's just stretching at the moment, and of course that's a big worry for them with this Challenge Cup semi-final coming up next weekend. But Phil, it's hardly surprising given the ferocity of this contest.
No, it isn't, Bill, and if you want to make the playoffs in the Tetris Super League, you need to have some mental toughness and resilience, and if anything, Wigan are showing that. They've hung in during this game, tough periods when Hull were rolling well and had possession. Now they're coming back, giving it strong and looking very good. But you mentioned earlier that Hull could go to the top of the Tetris Super League if they win here tonight, and it's probably because of their inability to defend that would take them there.
Prescott backing himself down the wing, and that's the turnover.
But they made valuable ground forward, and he knows it. They would have been looking for the kick, and the referee's holding play up. Well, you're right, Eddie, they're going down like 9 pins.
They are. It's a real slug this for these two teams.
Well, the whole defence, they've been superb tonight, and the forwards, and there's another one gone down.
That's Lamb, and here they come again with Hawk, and Colin Best with another good tackle, and it's younger Graham Horne who's at the moment down and out of this particular defensive line as O'Connor drives in again for Wigan. Great offload from O'Connor. Here is Terry Newton. Oh, Adrian Lamb couldn't take the pass in, so here come Hull.
A golden opportunity there, the half break.
Cook gets to his feet. Best was the dummy half. Here is Ryan.
Well, we've just gone into the last quarter, and they are completely out on their feet, both sets.
Richard Horne.
This is where the likes of the man who's just about to play the ball will start to relish. A tired set of forwards show all his skills. An obstruction. Run right into the back of Paul King. Again, a lack of confidence there.
Yeah,
Sorry, the other way around.
Yes, King and Greenhill getting in each other's way. Wigan will not be complaining about that. They'll just relieve the pressure a bit.
Well, when the second row and Adam Marr came in to score that try early in this second half, it looked as though perhaps that this Wigan outfit would maybe capitulate, but full credit to them. They really have dug deep, and they're still not out of it.
They're not. That was a great ball from O'Loughlin to Lamb, and they have the man out wide. It was Briscoe. They're still in with a chance. Oh, wonderful run down the blind side. Gareth Hawk. What a talent. What a talent this fellow is.
And what a dummy. And that is what Sean McRae will be saying to his defence when they get in the sheds at full time.
Gareth Hawk,
beautiful
19
play.
years of age. And this was all the skill and class of a veteran. Look at that.
Well, the two markers went the same way. That is schoolboy stuff, but let's take nothing away from this young fella, Gareth Hawk, playing it loose forward tonight. Look at this. Watch for the first and second marker. They go left. Go, boys. Thank you very much indeed. That is disgraceful defending. It is bred into you at a young age that when there's two markers, one goes one way, the other goes the other, and when this fella got into dummy half, they forgot all about it. They forgot about the basics, and as Eddie has said, sheer talent. Brilliant.
It was brilliance. Danny Tickle with this conversion attempt. And you say, Steve, it was schoolboy errors in defence. Well, Gareth Hawk is young enough he could be a schoolboy. Danny Tickle isn't much older either. He's only 20. Crowd giving him the bird. Tickle's kick. He's missed. 14-4.
Well, two Hull defenders, they were doing the military two-step to the left, And Mr. Hock was going in the corner. And they look at each other, and you could actually see the Hull players after this young fella popped the ball down, and they were all saying, you both went the same way.
But what thinking from a 19-year-old. No wonder they think this fellow has got a big future.
You'll remember that for a long time, and rightly so. Excellent piece of play. It's not all bash and brawn, is it?
It is not. A quarter of an hour to go. Fat's in the fire at the KC Stadium.
You could perhaps call that lateral thinking, couldn't you?
Well, what do you say? Military two-step. I would have thought it might have been a military do they have progressive military two-steps? Knock on.
Well, there's been so many errors tonight, and because they're very tired, Eddie, the forwards have really got into each other. Well, at 14-4, it's a respectable scoreline.
Let's go, keep it tidy.
Hull then with this possession from the scrum, and here is Richard Hall. Well, Lachlan just managing to get a hand on him. Marr will attack the line again. Newton stood his ground well. Graham Horn, dummy half. They come down this way with Greenhill.
Now then, can we see the creative genius that we know that Richard Horn, the fullback, has in his bag of tricks?
That was from Cook, and this is Ryan.
They've used him well out wide. Sean Ryan has been out there in the centres.
Tony Smith attacking the line. Graham Horn just can't get away from them.
They're working overtime.
Terry O'Connor, to big effort from him as well. Back off the bench. Tony Smith.
Whoa.
Managed to get the kick away, but no, a knock on. On the last turnover.
Well, a little bit scrappy from both sides now, and that's mainly due to the fact that it has been one heck of a tough match.
Go on, relax.
Played at breathtaking speed. And with both defences getting up so quickly, and even now, there was a period 10 minutes into the second half where Wigan looked as though they were running out of steam, and that try has lifted them. They won't throw the towel in, that's for sure.
Well, there is only one fit man standing as far as these two sides are concerned. Craig Smith is the only replacement that Wigan can make, for fitness anyway, and Fletcher is the only man fit enough to return for Hull, so it's going to be a long 12 minutes or so. Offside, Wigan. Surely they'll go for the two, won't they?
No, put it in the corner. What is he going to go for it? Well, I'd put it in the corner, mate.
And I think Sean McRae agrees with you.
Great defence, isn't it? Good ball to try to get it back on the inside. Paul Cook's had a fine match as well. Been very creative indeed.
And Hull have gone to try and seal the match. Rather than take the two on offer, they're looking for six.
Well, they want to utilise the big forwards and just break them down.
Oh, lovely dummy! Great dummy, and wide it goes! And they're in again!
What a pass from Paul Cook. I barely mentioned the fact that he'd had such a wonderful match. But he threw the dummy. Well, it was Hock with a lovely dummy that got him through.
Kirk Yeaman has come up with the 4 points that Hull were searching for.
Well, he made an error at the other end, which allowed Hock in for that try. It was one of the culprits that I feel went both the same way after the winger Colin Best had joined him. But that was a beautiful break by Paul Cook. This was now the ball. It goes in the field of play. That's okay. Oh, the touch judge saw it. Not that they would have pulled him back for a knock-on from Paul Cook, but you can't take anything away from this. Oh, beautiful stuff. Went far too high, did Brett Dallas. And it was good work. Just through the inside dummy. And it was sufficient. Good support by Yeaman. But allowing the play on with the touch judge just there, Eddie. But it still would have been, I think.
Or did the Hull player actually...
He did put it.
Did he put the ball into touch when he got it? Did he roll the ball over just make it touch the whitewash?
Well,
it's academic now because the try's given.
As he was picking the ball up, he was hitting the whitewash. So would that have been deemed because it came off the Wigan player? It's hard to say.
I think it actually went on the whitewash when Cook picked it up.
Well, I bet you Mr. Barry was pleased that it didn't have to go to that one, because that was...
Prescott's here with the kick. Just underneath the bar. 18-4. Well, that's the way the ball was going.
Yeah, this is human.
Well, this is where they released the ball, Wigan.
Yeah, but
now
does
watch Cook now. It's not out.
Touch the whitewash.
Not out. Not out. Not out. Out.
Oh, it was a difficult one indeed. I mean, the touch judge thought perhaps that the top of the ball may have did it touch it first? Actually, he did the right thing, just say nothing. Stum.
Well, the shout was from the referee. Release. Release. Release.
It's been a troubled night for the skipper, Adrian Lamb. He's tried hard, tried every dummy, tried the step, but they really have shut him down well. Just shows you these days that you've got to be a superstar to make breaks with such solid defence all over the place.
Paul King, punishing run.
That's the way to do it. It's been a good ploy that they've utilised throughout this game so far. There's a big solid forwards going to getting over the advantage line. Quick play the ball.
Well, I wonder if 14 points will be enough. Phil?
It probably will be on this stage. I think that Hull here tonight have shown what they're capable of this season, or they've come with another handling error. And Wigan will get possession. I do admire Wigan's toughness here, resilience in difficult circumstances. They've tried very hard. And we've mentioned tonight the youngsters in the Wigan side. I think it's also worth pointing out the youngsters in the Hull side. Paul Cook, only a young player himself, although he's making his 100th appearance here tonight. Kurt Yeaman, Richard Horne himself and Graham Horne, very young players. Testimony to the good work that the club have done over the last few years in bringing the players on, and there's a promising future for this Hull side if they can stick together.
Absolutely so, and promising for Wigan also. There's a bundle of young talent on show here tonight, and them with the experienced heads like Brian Carney and company, they have served up a treat. It's been a terrific contest, it really has. Craig Smith back out.
Oh, he fumbled that. Brought forward, not seen by the official.
Said play on. Here's Radlinski. That's the last.
Haven't seen much of Radlinski tonight. That's about only the second time he's come into the attacking frame.
Kick out wide, looking to test Prescott in the air. Prescott, great take over the top of the falling players ahead of him.
Typical example of someone saying, it's mine, get out of the way.
Well, he's an accomplished fullback, is Steve Prescott.
And that surprised me with the tactics from Wigan tonight. That's everything they've thrown at him. He's come up with the goodies.
Of course, Hull will get a break next weekend. Wigan won't. They're in the semi-finals of the Cup. And we look ahead to all that in Boots and All on Wednesday at 8 on Sky Sports Extra. Chris Warren, Phil Clark and a certain Tulson Tollett in the studio. For that, a little break here from Marr.
Oh, it was taken out. It's got to be a penalty.
And is.
Marr made the break. The strength from the second rower.
I think this time Sean McRae signalled to the post. He'll have the two now.
Yeah, right in front. Went through the towering defence. Not out in my mind. Terry O'Connor certainly got to the man, and this was just helping the referee. Got to be a penalty, and he's got it.
2 points.
2 points.
That's the instruction.
And not only that, I think he knows now that he's got 2 more valuable points in the Super League table.
And they will be top of the table tonight.
It's going to be a hard yakka for this guy next week, Stuart Raper.
But he's got to lift them.
Yeah, to prepare for the semi-final. And listen to this crowd. Well, it's what they want. These fans, they've had a lot of success over the years, some great players, This one included as well. But success breeds bigger and bigger crowds.
Indeed so. Prescott slides the kick over the bar. It's going to be Hull's day, all right. They're going to go top of the table, albeit temporarily. And Andy Farrell knows that because London and Castleford play each other on Sunday, Wigan at the end of this weekend will be dropping out of the top 6.
Keep it tidy down there.
And in anybody's terms, no one likes that sort of thing, and as I say, it's going to be a big week for Stuart Rayburn to try to lift his charges. He'll be pleased by the way that they have not given in, and their defence has been good. Remember, the first 2 tries coming to Hull from kicks.
Graham Hall wrestled to the ground by Craig Smith. They've got 4.5 minutes to go, Hull, and they'll be top of the table. And Ryan is looking for a penalty, and the referee screams at him to play the ball. Take the tackle here on halfway. Will Craig Greenhill. Graham Horn, brother Richard.
They're still trying hard at the defensive line of this Wigan outfit, but it's a testament to this whole side. They went back into the right rhythm. Their kicking game has been far better than Wigan's tonight.
Here's Carney looking for a little bit of glory for himself.
And I'm sure that Sean McRae and he will feel that with a little bit more concentration and keeping possession, they've come up with quite a few errors of Hull.
That ball's come free. That ball is free.
He's caught it again.
Knock on. Hodgson, under extreme pressure, the ball popped out, and the look of him shaking the head, he believes maybe it was knocked out, but it was just lost.
Pretty hard to see. Just the sheer weight of the tackle. Squeezed the ball out.
Over 11,500 people inside this stadium, Steve-O, the biggest crowd for a league fixture in this match between Hull and Wigan for 20 years.
Well, I just said the situation, Eddie, is that you know, just breed success, and the people in the town want to support a winning side, irrespective of what sport. And if you produce a good, convincing win against the likes of Wigan, albeit with a few of their stars out, but Hull have suffered. They lost Jason Smith early, so it's been a good effort from both sides, but I think Hull will realise that they are back on track.
Well, you say Hull have suffered. They have against Wigan in the past. I think I'm right in saying that we saw their first match back in the Super League, Hull, when they actually went to Old Central Park, and Wigan gave them the right caning that night about, what, 4 years ago? It was 58 points to 6 in Wigan's favour that night in 1999.
Sorry, Eddie, I just couldn't think quickly so far back.
Well, what progress they have made in this part of the world.
What another great take from Prescott.
Been an outstanding effort, and both sides have played their part in a great game.
My word, and I had my doubts about switching Steve Prescott. I obviously thought there was a big problem with him, but they haven't changed the tactics at all, have they? They haven't even attempted to force the pressure on Colin Best. They've gone down Prescott's throat all night, and I know has come up winner, Mr. Prescott.
Ma inside. This is Horn again, young Graham.
Pretty quick Terry O'Connor there out of the 10-metre blocks.
Best with a dab over the top, or rather to dab over the top for Colin Best, and that's well watched by Carney.
Good thinking as well. Wigan getting very tired. They didn't have a sweeper linked in at the defensive line.
Wigan haven't given it up yet, though. Still looking for something. Oh, lost it. Another knock on. Young Sean Briscoe. Briscoe, first appearance of the year. Made a real impact back end of last season. Remember, he played the last 4 of 2002. There's the winning coach. And there's the coach that is top of the table tonight with his assistant John Keir. And a sweet moment for John Keir, having left Wigan to come to Hull this last close season.
I've got to be honest with you, Eddie, that shot there proved to me they must be the best dressed Toby jugs I've seen for years.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that. This is Richard Horne, who's trying to stamp this victory. There they are, yes. Club Blazers. A dab through, ball's bouncing, and Radlinski just flicks it dead. That'll do us, I think.
Yep.
Full-time siren. There it is. Wigan beaten for the third time in Super League. Sean McRae has guided Hull to the top of the tree. They will take the week off. They will enjoy that too. Hull's biggest defeat of Wigan since 1990, 24-4 under Brian Smith. A similar scoreline, but not quite as heavy as that. 20 points to 4. The forwards, like Craig Greenhill, they laid the platform for this victory. And Wigan now have to regroup, and they have to go forward to the semi-final next weekend. And I'm sure that Hull will enjoy their week off. Bill is with the man who's sitting top of the tree tonight, Sean McRae.
Sean, top of the table, okay, it might only be for 24 hours or so, but it must be a great feeling.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the victory tonight obviously is a great feeling. Table will take care of itself if you accumulate your 2 points. I just thought tonight was a terrific performance by everybody involved. We lost some numbers there at the, Jason half-time and then a couple of others, so the guys had to hang in there, and scoreline of 20-4. I think you take that any time against a side like Wigan.
And that's probably as tough a game as you're likely to see, isn't it?
Well, it was, and we backed up after a real tough one at Warrington. So the 5-day turnaround sometimes isn't good for a side, but it's worked for us this week. There'll be some tired guys. They'll learn the weekend off.
Downside is that sternum injury for Jason Smith. Scott Logan with what looked like a serious ankle injury as well. Toakoilov's shoulder. I mean, it's come at some cost, doesn't it?
Well, there was 4 guys out tonight injured, and if they're added to the list, I'm sure they are. I mean, the only grace I can find is that we don't play next weekend, and maybe we can get them all back in a short period of time. I hope so anyway.
Just finally, the guys are wondering, at the Boulevard it was a tracksuit. Whistle and flute here at the new stadium. What's it all about? Is this the secret of your success?
Oh, I don't know. I'm getting older, I think, Bill.
You're getting smarter as well.
Thanks very much. Appreciate that coming from you. That's great.
Don't worry, Sean, he's got very little taste. So let's take a look at the tables, and well, he might have a good whistle and flute on, and he deserves it because he's guided Hull to the top of the table. Will he still be there come the end of the weekend? Well, Leeds and Saints have a little argument to settle tomorrow, and after that it's Bradford against Warrington and London against Castleford. They clash at Griffin Park, which means that come what may at the end of this weekend, Wigan will be out of the top 6. It has been a fierce physical encounter. Hull have come out on top. They have won by 20 points to 4. Hull are top of the table.